Welcome back, True Seeker. Monday, October 28th, 2024, Jeff Bezos responded to the criticism of his newspaper, The Washington Post, not endorsing either candidate, not Kamala, not Donald Trump. And again, people should be asking, why is this even a problem? Why is a newspaper endorsing a candidate in the first place? Shouldn't the newspaper's job be reporting the facts, doing real journalism, getting information out there so people can make informed decisions, not having to say, okay, this is who we endorse and we want our readership to vote for them as well. Anyhow, somehow, some way, that's where we are. And the news becomes the news. The Washington Post not doing this becomes the news. What I want to talk about is why the puppet Jeff Bezos did this on the other puppet, Bill Gates' birthday. Again, I've been talking about these big puppets who don't run any of these big tech companies, and you can prove that all day if you just learn the Kabbalistic code of letters and numbers and dates. Because, again, the cabal is a real thing. They are the Jesuits who created the Illuminati who run this nation. It's government, it's media, big tech, all of it. The things controlling the minds of the masses are the things they control, including religion. The Jesuits come from the Catholic Church. But notice, Jeff Bezos had to respond after this week's controversy, and he had to wait until Bill Gates' birthday. And I want to remind you about all the parallels between these two men who started their computer companies in New Mexico, the land of the Roswell crash in 47. Again, New Mexico's the 47th state. And then they moved their companies up to Seattle on the 47th parallel. But notice, Bezos founded Amazon in 94. And remember, that's the same year that Bill Gates became a celebrity. The same year that Kurt Cobain, the band from the Seattle area, Nirvana, the same year that Kurt Cobain died. And remember, Bill and Melinda were married on January 1st, 94. Kurt Cobain died 94 days later. His mother would die shortly after. Bill Gates' mother would die shortly after in 1994. Years later, his father would die at age 94. The Seahawks won their only Super Bowl in the 94th NFL season, and then Russell Wilson's grandpa died at 94. But again, within Kabbalah, there's a practice of coding numbers into words. Within English, there's four base ciphers, the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology. Notice how Jeff Bezos equates to 94, like Seattle, Washington, like Roman Catholic Church, 1,094 rituals in Seattle. Bill and Bezos just happen to have that year in common, and also the New Mexico tradition. Again, they went from the 47th state, New Mexico, where Roswell happened in 47, up to Seattle, known for the Space Needle, the world's biggest needle. Remember how the first case of the cooties was confirmed in Seattle in Bill Gates' backyard, the corona, when corona means crown, and Seattle's in King County. For the record, coronavirus pandemic equals 94, like Davos, Switzerland, where Bill Gates was a decade earlier when he predicted exactly what would happen, and then it perfectly unfolded to plan in his own city, where Amazon is, who was a major beneficiary, as only they and Walmart were allowed to stay open, along with Costco, which is out of the Seattle area. Kirkland's the suburb of Seattle, thus the Kirkland brand for Costco. They taught everybody to stand in a line and put their slave muzzle on and stand 6 feet apart, so everyone's 6 feet apart. When they simulated the whole thing with Cladex on Mercuralia, 666 days before the pandemic was declared. By the way, beast equals 47, going with all those 47s. And for people who don't know the history, the first official UFO sighting was from Seattle by Mount Rainier in 1947, just before the Roswell landing. These things are not an accident, just like it's not an accident that they pick these weirdos who look like aliens. I'm talking about Billy Goat and Jeff Bezos to be the big Revenge of the Nerd, big tech types. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all these guys look like weirdos. They're all puppets on strings. You can see through every last one of them if you just learn the code. They're all being moved and manipulated by the Jesuit cabal. And not to mention Billy Goat married Melinda, who has the same birthday as the Jesuit order, August 15th, and she comes from a family of Jesuit priests. Roman Catholic Church is also 94, who the Jesuits serve. But anyhow, here's the bigger piece about this too. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos out in Washington State. Now Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. We were talking about how on the same day that he responded, how in Portland and in Vancouver, Washington, two cities separated by the Columbia River, like the District of Columbia, Somebody threw fireworks in the ballot boxes and burned up ballots. Again, the election this year is on November 5th, the anniversary of the Jesuits trying to blow up British Parliament with fireworks. Again, the Jesuits moved the capital to D.C., which is their stronghold. But think about it. This is the election of number 47, isn't it? And Jeff Bezos has never been so connected to an election. The guy who went from the 47th state to the 47th parallel is now a big part of the storyline. And remember, in Gematria, there's 4 base ciphers, the alphabetic order forwards and backwards numerology. Again, remember, just the letters DC equate to 47 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. Government, authority, Republican, Democrat, President, White House, they all equate to 47. Trump is another 47. Kamala spoke at the DNC on the anniversary of Huey P. Newton's death at age 47. From the Bay Area like Kamala, who helped found the Black Panther Party with the help of her father, Donald J. Harris. And of course, she was out in Chicago where Fred Hampton got smoked at 47. All of this stuff is high ritualism. And another detail that's less important, this Monday, which was Bill Gates' birthday, the date numerology paths happen to equate to 19 and 82, just like how Seattle equates to 19 and 82. So big focus on Mr. Seattle Big Tech. And again, like, this is what's dominating the news. Like, why isn't my decodes dominating the news? Like some real journalism that exposes how rigged the system is. Again, you have to understand it's because the news media is part of the rigged system. It's part of the cabal. It's part of the mind control. It's not a place to go and seek information from unless you want to be lied to and manipulated and kept in the clouds about stuff like this that really doesn't matter. Newspapers, as far as I'm concerned, shouldn't even be endorsing candidates. They should just be reporting information without bias, nothing but facts, taking no sides, and trying to lead people to the right conclusion. And if they were doing that, they'd be leading everybody to the fact that the system's totally rigged, bought and paid for, and everyone should be revolting. So anyhow, they're not going to do that, though. They want to control you. They want to keep you in the lanes that they built for you. They want to keep you on the big slave ship that we call the United States of America, where you got to be asleep to believe in the dream. You're not free. You never have been. You've been lied to your whole life. You've been made to go pledge to 13 stripes for 13 years in a slave classroom where you're lied to about everything. News media does the same thing. Your government does the same thing. Your parents did that to you as well. Made you believe in things like Santa Claus, a reshuffling of Satan. And sadly, that's the other pieces of this as we've been talking about. There is real evil behind all this. So we'll leave it there for now. And until next time, True Seeker.